Who's joining via Zoom?
Is anybody on Zoom right now, Richard?
Yeah, there's Bob.
Travers?
Bob who?
Zabak? Z-A-B-A-C-K?
Well, welcome, Bob. We don't know who you are. If he's on Zoom, do we get to see him too?
Yeah, as soon as this video.
Oh,
You
super.
guys ready to go?
Yeah, we're ready to go.
We're ready.
All right, you guys are live on YouTube. Good.
All right, welcome everybody to the October Golf Course Committee meeting. First up on the agenda, update from Scott Robinson.
The greens were aerified back in September, and they've pretty much grown back together, except for number 15. We're having a little problem with that one, but we're planning to oversee the greens. Depending on the weather, it may have to be pushed back in the spring. Trying to do our best to keep up maintenance. Everything's growing pretty fast right now with the weather staying pretty warm. But now they say there's a cold front coming in, so we might get our first frost on Saturday, possibly.
Scott, can you come in front of a microphone? We cannot hear you.
There you go. Yep. Well, yeah, you point that one out there for have the other people yell.
Also been fortunate enough to be able to hire a second full-time person. He's starting on the 1st of November. He's got a big background in construction, and hopefully he can work out in the parks too. He's got a lot of concrete experience.
Fantastic.
He's a good hands-on guy.
What is his title?
Role?
He'll be a golf technician, same as Howard Whitman, the other full-time person.
Yeah.
Excellent.
That'll help a lot.
Super.
Well, I can say that, we played on Saturday, and I can tell you in my 17 years playing here that it's looking better than it has in a long time. Greens, fairways, all the work you guys has done, clearing out around crossings on 5 and 9 and all those areas, 8.
Yeah, we're trying to open it up so you don't have to put your ball through the tree.
Yeah, but I mean but you've got it cleared. The grass is grown back in. It looks good. So we just want to recognize the fact that you and your team have put a lot of hard work into it, and it's looking good.
Yeah.
Thanks. We keep trying. There's a lot of improvement to go, but one step at a time.
So I have one question.
Certainly.
And I think when we were out playing, I know I experienced it. I think Steve did too. And we've talked about this before, but some of the sprinkler heads seem to be down. Maybe
Yes,
that
and
much?
that's one of our winter projects that we'll get caught up on.
Gotcha.
It just,
Okay.
just years of sanding and turf growth is just
And
everything.
settlement,
Yep.
I'm sure.
Yeah. So what do you have to do to get those?
We have to dig them up.
You sure?
And they're on triple swing assemblies, so
Oh, gotcha.
hopefully it's enough to pull up and
Yep. Yep.
get the
Yeah.
head into
Gotcha.
the right
Yep,
position, which is
exactly.
about half an inch to an inch below the turf.
Good.
So
Gotcha. Yeah. No, that's good to hear. I think when we were out playing, we noticed a few, and then they got kind of.
Yeah, there's
back up into one.
approximately about 1,600 heads, so yes. We got people doing this.
Just a few.
I hope they're not all that low.
No.
Got any update on the pump, the ponds?
Brian and I, Brian Stewart, the parks supervisor, has, him and I have been following up on some things, and we're working on that. And I don't have an update yet, but him and I are working on that. We're gonna fix the existing system that's out there, and then go from there, and also come up with some environmentally sound principles to keep the duckweed and other aquatic weeds out of the pond. Improve the whole look, get rid of all the cottonwood trees around it before the roots come up through the liner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't need that.
Yeah.
Good. Yeah, and I'll just, to Tommy's point as well, overall, maintenance of the course, it just looks fantastic right now. So, great job.
Thank you.
Anybody else? Anything on any other maintenance items? Questions? Or we can move on to number 2, update from Jason.
I can't.
Okay, so where we're at here now is in our last meeting we talked about the pond. Dawn said that we're going to get that handled. So Well, obviously,
filtrate-
the filtration problem.
Yes, I'm working on that, and also we got all the components delivered to upgrade the irrigation system, so
Fantastic.
that's in process. He's gonna be coming out in mid-November to start switching out the controllers and
Okay.
software and all that, so.
Yeah,
by next year
fantastic.
We'll be looking good.
Yeah, so that was one of the other items that Steve Paulson had talked about in the last meeting.
Yep.
And then one other item I want you guys to know, that in our executive sessions, we talked about our priorities, and one of the priorities we have is going to be the, I'm going to call it the lodge, okay? So it made the list for the priorities. The unfortunate thing is we are going to be out of ways. I mean, this is not happening this year, and it's not going to happen next year, but it is.
Talking 5, 10?
We're talking, and I think it's 3 to 5 years is what we project for that. So, but it's a good idea to start talking about what we want now,
Yep.
okay? What is our vision is, but it's on the list. It is something that we are talking about. It's just not at the top of the list.
No, we understand that. I mean,
No, that's good to hear.
Yeah.
It's good to hear that it's on the list and we've kind of got a timeline, but that gives us time to plan, do a lot of research, figure out, the massing, usage and all that kind of stuff, and come up with a plan that's one that we can afford.
Yeah.
And two, that can service a lot of different parts and pieces.
Right, and I believe that I heard Don Clemens say that he thought it would be a good idea that if we're going to do this new lodge, that we should do the third 9 at the same time. So, and I agree with that too.
That's the revenue generator.
So, and
That's
then,
what we agree with the same thing. It's,
Yeah.
we need to have that other 9. That's going to help. I mean, we already have lots of tournaments. Kellen does a good job of bringing in all the tournaments and everything else, but what that does is restrict play, right?
Right.
So if we've got that additional 9, then we have, the people that want to play have other places to go.
right,
And then it makes it easier when that tournament's like at, say it's 9 o'clock, runs till 2, by, 3 o'clock, you can conceivably have additional play on the other 9s that were not available earlier. in the
Right.
day. So, I mean, all that coupled together is going to, definitely help the revenue.
yeah.
Dylan, you have any thoughts on that? The additional 9, like how much more play we can get, the course could get, and, from that standpoint?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's 9-hole play that we can push to 1-9, and then 18-hole play, obviously. So currently, currently if we send a group out to play 9 holes, we're missing out on a little bit of revenue that they're not paying for 18 holes. So there's that revenue plus all the tournament revenue that you guys are talking about. So yeah,
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
I couldn't tell you a figure at this point
No.
of what we
Yeah.
think that would be.
Right.
There are some additional costs, obviously, that are going to go along with that, especially on Scott's side.
Right.
Yeah.
Maintenance
But,
staff.
yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
It also helps with maintenance a lot, because I can close 9 holes for a day or 2 and still have
Yep.
18 to have open. So that allows a lot of good construction time.
Makes aeration better. We lose 6 days of revenue a year.
I
We're
was just
closed
gonna
for
say, yeah, when you do
aeration,
that,
so,
you can,
yeah.
could you do like 9 at a time?
Yeah, we can certainly stagger it. Yeah.
Yeah?
Yep.
Boy, that's great.
Yeah.
So that's all I've got, guys, unless you have any questions for me at all.
We're holding you to it.
Well, I make no promises.
The minutes, 3 to 5 years.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah. I didn't promise anything. I just want to be clear.
I heard him say 18 to 36 months.
Right. Actually, that might be a good segue. Michael Bond's here, the architect who did the initial renderings for a new clubhouse. And I know you're here to share some things you have. If now's a good time for you.
If I sit here, talking to the mic.
Yeah, it'd be super.
So, some of you know me from the last time I was here, and some of you don't. But I'll just do a quick introduction, if that's all right, and tell you what my history is with the course. So, I'm from Sherwood, and I'm not much of a golfer, but I introduced my son to the game of golf when he was 5 years old. And by 6, he had completely fallen in love with the sport. And at the time, we were doing our rounds at the at the public links in Lake Oswego, that par 3 in Lake Oswego. And he loved it, but as he got better, he outgrew it. And we started looking for a place to really advance the game for him. And Chehalem Glen was the obvious choice, living in Sherwood. So we started enrolling him in youth programs, and he got to hit the tennis ball at the Velcro guy, and perfecting his short game, and just completely fell in love with the game. Became Sherwood High School's most decorated golfer at the time, and has gone on to play Division I golf now, and he's in his senior year of college playing Division I golf.
Nice.
And absolutely loving it. And he still considers Chehalem Glen his home course. And Kellen
And worked there.
and Kellen has employed him.
Yeah.
Well, you employed him too. He worked briefly on the grounds crew and then made it into the clubhouse. So he comes back, and every time he's home for any amount of time, he will play as many rounds as it takes to get under par before he has to go back to school. And he will grind, and he will not leave Christmas or Thanksgiving break or whatever until he's got an under par round. So I started hearing about. Everyone who's been there knows that there's a real need for a new clubhouse, both just for the experience of it. The course is in amazing condition and continues to be a beacon for the golfers in Washington County, but the course is so much nicer than the quality of the clubhouse. And I think all of us who've been there know that. So when I heard there was an opportunity to start providing just some early, what we call pre-design or early schematic design work, we wanted to do that. We wanted to do something to help kick off the effort. So some of you have seen this, but what I'll do is I'll just walk through the work we did, and unfortunately we don't have a TV to really project it on, but I'll walk you through what it is for those who haven't seen it. And if you can't see, there you go. So, does that work?
Camera.
Oh, that's pretty good. Yeah, that's pretty good. So that's a view looking north, and it shows in the foreground the event pavilion. Similar, if you've been to the reserve, it's very similar in concept to what you see in front of the clubhouse at the reserve. And it can, of course, grow or shrink depending on the budget and depending on the kinds of events that you want to hold. And then in the background, you see the clubhouse with its roof opening to the south to catch that south light, which, of course, in the winter when the sun is low in the sky dome, all that glass is a great way to create a really nice space, even in the darkest months of what the Willamette Valley gives us. So that's a place for the dining. We'll get to the plan in a minute, but that's a place for the dining to spill out on nice days. There's enough cover that you can sit out there even on a drizzly day and finish your cigar and have a drink and talk about your round or talk about how your round's gonna be before you head out. So that's that view.
And that patio looks towards number 10 and 12 tee boxes, basically.
That's right, yeah. And in my opinion, the view looking north from the current clubhouse is beautiful, but the view looking this way, I think a lot of people don't realize just how incredible that view is. And it looks out over what's currently farmland, but as I understand it, is the next 9 holes back there. So you'll have an incredible vista down through that ravine and back up to the golf.
It's beautiful.
It's a stunning view. Yeah, it's a stunning view looking that direction. This is just taken from the north looking south. Illustrates what you can do to stage for tournaments, and it creates a much better plaza to set up for big tournaments. You could, I think we set it up enough to get 72 carts there, but you could at least do 36 on this side and 36 across the road if you wanted to. But easing some of that congestion that comes with hosting a really large tournament and having a lot of staged carts ready to roll. This would help that. And then you can also see just in the very back, right down there, is the halfway house. So as you're rolling past, depending how the course lays out, in the end, when you have all 3 nines, that would be a place to roll behind, get your hot dog and your drink or your beer, and head back out without having to go back into the clubhouse.
And is there any So as far as restrooms, is there?
Yeah, so that's the halfway house, and then I believe it's this door takes you right into a
Gotcha.
set of men's and
Gotcha.
women's restrooms.
Gotcha, nice.
That would be easy in and out on your way
Yep.
past.
Quick, yep.
Yeah.
Perfect.
That's just a view, the same view as we saw from the bird's eye. This is now down on the ground, showing that event pavilion in the foreground and the bigger building in the background. And this shows the back, same thing. That's where you would enter to go to the bathroom. That's the halfway house back there. And then you're just starting to see where you could drop down and have cart storage underneath the building, so that it doesn't all have to be stored across. I think you're going to keep those buildings across the road, but you want it to be as reliant on everything being on that side. You can store at least half on this side. And I think I did a rough count. I can't remember how many we could get, but we could get at least half of the carts underneath this building alone.
Question, Mike, did you already give us the square footage of this?
I have it. I should have brought it today. I have a program that was given to me by Kellen that spells out the size of the clubhouse, the size of the event pavilion, and I can share that with the group, and Steve or somebody can get it out to everyone. But I'm sorry, I don't have those numbers on at the top of my head. And that just shows the cart barn on would be the east face of the building, where you could drop down underneath. Obviously, you'd have cleaning facilities as soon as you go in, trench drains, get all the carts washed off, and then tucked back in there for charging during the night. Maintenance of carts down there as well. And then just, you can see that patio from the front wrapping around enough so you can, when you drop your cart, this would be like where you would come in at the end of your round, drop your cart, and then you could walk up those stairs, go right in, record your score, go right in. These two windows are the pro shop, so the pro shop can see you coming and going, and you'll see in a second when we look at the plan that pro shop has a view back toward the existing 18, or front 9, I should say, as well as looking
Gotcha.
out this way.
So that's looking across Fernwood?
This is looking across from.
Yeah, gotcha,
Yeah.
gotcha.
Yeah. So there's the basic plan, and obviously this is very what we call schematic. It's early, but this is looking south, and this is looking across toward Fernwood. The cart staging is all back in here. There's a front door that goes through a vestibule, gets you into the main dining. A bar with the kitchen behind, and then the kitchen can serve out that way. It can also serve down into the halfway house right there. There's a place for private dining, so people can reserve a room for any sort of small meeting group or birthday parties or whatever right there. Then here's that door into the men's and women's room, just easy in and out as you pass by. And then an office, kind of a flex office for staff. The head pro I put here, so they've got a view both out this way and north toward the front 9, or the current front 9. Pro shop would sit there and have the ability to be closed off in the evenings when you're running just food and beverage. You could lock off the pro shop and protect all the merchandise. There's a point of sale right there, and this is kind of a vestibule where you'd come in. There's a message board. You can record your scores. You can have announcements for, men's league or whatever right there. And then this is dining expansion, so you could either kind of hold this off and not use it when you don't have bigger groups. And this becomes the main dining room off the bar, or you can open it up and have more seating. And everything you can see is pushed. All that seating is then pushed right toward that south-facing glass, and everyone can look right out over the action, and the practice green and the putting green, chipping green. And then, of course, it just opens up onto this terrace. This row of columns, everything north of that row of columns is covered. So it would be dry in the rainstorm unless it's blowing hard. And then everything south of that is open air, so you get the sunshine out past it. And, of course, the drop down to go underneath to the cart barn.
Super. They did a really nice job. I will tell you, I'm only one voice, but what I would like to see is, and this is, we'll talk about these things, but I would like to see a space in which someone wants to take, I would like to have this lodge be more than just the pro shop and just the place where you go to play golf. I would like it to be the place where you want to take your wife out to dinner.
Yeah.
You want your daughter to get married there. You've got a company and you want to do a retreat. You're going to play golf all day, and then you're going to have this ballroom in which you're going to tell stories about what happened during the year at your company. And you know, I'd like to see something more grand. I mean, I love what you did. This is absolutely wonderful. And of course, I don't know what the costs are to do the things of what my dream is, and of course, I don't know what everybody else, the other board members, what their vision is. I know that Dawn says that, you know, we don't want to be too big and what have you, and I understand that. But my goodness, I think if you're gonna do something, we should do something grand, something really fantastic, something where it will be a destination location rather than simply a clubhouse. And this is a phenomenal clubhouse. If this is all we got, this would be phenomenal. But if we were gonna spend money, I would like to have something more than this.
We need to,
Personally.
yeah, we need to have something that attracts more than golfers.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
Right.
So-
Exactly right.
Absolutely. Want the whole community to come out and use it, even if they don't golf, right?
Absolutely. However, I think that it could be used to get people who would not normally play golf to come out
Yeah.
and try it. I think it'd be a wonderful thing.
Agreed.
Is Don's position from a cost perspective?
Dawn's, well, I hate to speak for Dawn, but I think it was based on Dawn's had conversations with other golf, facilities where they say that they didn't grow their business because of this building. This wasn't the reason why they're doing as well or doing better. So,
There are some stories of people overbuilding clubhouses.
Yeah.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah, and it's hard to quantify, is a golfer really coming there for the clubhouse? No, but it's part of the overall experience.
exactly.
So, but how do you quantify that and say that this clubhouse increased our play by 25%? You can't really, there's really no way to quantify it.
Yeah.
Now,
So-
Third Nine will help do that.
Third Nine will help, and if we do have event space that can attract people other than golfers, that can, come in, generate revenue and everything else, is definitely something that's a little bit more quantifiable. But as far as overall number of golfers, it's very difficult to make a,
Right.
quantification of how much that's gonna attract more people.
And I know typically it is cheaper to go up than it is to go out, typically.
Yeah, generally, although you've got a public facility, so when you go up, you're almost
Have to have an
always into an elevator.
Yeah.
If you're gonna let the public go up, and that adds
And-
expense and ongoing maintenance, where you have to have a maintenance contract with an elevator manufacturer, kind of on and on. And if you've got the real estate to stay wide, it's probably on the whole a little cheaper to go wide. If all you wanted upstairs was some storage or one of 4 offices or something, we could probably get away
Not a
with
public-
stairs only.
Public space.
Yeah,
where
but if you had public space up there, it'd be hard to do a public facility without providing full access and 2 exits and kind of all the bells and
Sure.
whistles that come with that.
Sure.
But I think you're right. I think you want to be able to leverage the clubhouse in lots of ways if you're going to invest in it. The trick is going to be right-sizing it, right? So it's, what you don't want to be is to have it sitting empty a lot of the time, or you feel like you're a BB in a box car and it's quiet and weirdly large for the 10 people who are there. So that was what I was starting to set up, and it could be scaled up from what I show here, but setting up where you've got a small dining room or a big dining room, or all, inside and out when it's combined, but you can shut off certain sections and make it feel like there's still a cozy space to be, and you're not in this vast empty space if it's a smaller time of the day or time of the year. But having it multi-purpose where you could rent it out or something, that makes a lot of sense to me. But I think you do have to be careful about overdoing it and overbuilding it, or you end up being, there's a long list of clubhouses that overdid it.
Oh, yeah.
You don't want to be them. But we've made just an early attempt at it here, obviously. If you want to take it a little further, like you don't have to hire an architect to start now and create construction documents. They're going to sit on the shelf unused. But you could have us take it a little bit further to get the program more dialed in that would help you with pricing. So that you could dial in
Schematic
the
design.
expense of it. Yeah, just get through schematic design.
Yeah.
Might be a place to stop and say, okay, we've got our basic program down, we've got all the adjacencies figured out, and we've got our size and some idea of the materials. And that gives the general contractor the ability to nail down a much better price than just working from really sketchy eyewash drawings like these are
Yeah.
kind of at this stage.
The price for this vision here is, I'm guessing, around $5 million, maybe.
Maybe, yeah. You don't want to ask an architect to prices. Because I think it's two, no, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
Architects will always
Yeah.
underestimate. You want a
No,
general
that's- I mean-
contractor, and I've got good,
Okay.
probably a lot of us do, but I've got good general contractor partners who would price a set of an early set of drawings.
Well, I would hate to have you spend even a moment more doing any more drawings for us. I mean, I would love you to do it, but I wouldn't want you to waste your time doing it unless we had a consensus
Yep.
from the board as to what their vision is. I know what
Absolutely.
mine is, but I'm only one person.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, I agree. I think the direction would need to come from this group,
Yeah.
and give us good, clear direction on what the priorities are, what the course needs, what the community needs.
right.
It's a spectacular location in some ways if you compare it to the like the views you get from the Alice, and this is that sort of similar effect where you're sitting on this hill looking out over a valley, and it's unique in a way to Newburgh, and I think doing something like this will really celebrate the specialness of the zone.
Right. And this might be one of these things that we might want to have some kind of a questionnaire that goes out to ask the citizens of Newburgh and Dundee, what is it you'd like to see here? You know what I mean? Rather than
Yeah.
it just be our idea.
Right.
So, because they're going to be footing the bill.
Yeah.
When the time comes, Mike, are we allowed to display these renditions?
Yeah, for sure. And at one point, Steve had asked me about helping get some boards made for the clubhouse that could just be on display. The only thing we'd ask is that we keep our logo on there. So far,
Yeah.
everything I've done has been pro bono.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's been a
Yeah.
gift to Parks and Rec. If we took it any further, we'd need to work out a deal. But if we could just have some credit for the work we've done on the boards, but absolutely. And I think that's an important piece of it, to start getting the community excited and thinking about it, and have that mindset that, oh, there's something coming.
Especially the golfers.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So could you put a proposal together for us to take it from what we've got here
The
through
schematic.
schematic design?
Sure.
Because that, at least we'd understand what that cost would be able to do that, so that.
Yeah,
way,
yeah,
wanna-
you can-
As we want to entertain that, because I mean, if we're going to move this forward, we're going to have to go through that stage. So start with hey, how much is it going to get from step 1 to step 2?
Yep, you bet.
Is this something that you could provide in an electronic?
Yeah, I've probably given it to Steve, but if he doesn't have it,
I might have them too, I'll have to look.
yeah, and if it's not the right resolution, like if you're going to do big boards, make sure
Yeah.
I've got you the high resolution stuff.
What I was thinking is it might be kind of nice for the rest of the board members just to see what you put together here.
Yeah.
And just have some input from them.
Absolutely.
See what their ideas are.
Absolutely.
Their thoughts,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, if you don't have it, Killen, let me know. And
Okay.
if you decide to get it printed, let's make sure I've got you the high res stuff so it doesn't look pixelated on a board.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you heard that we're 18 months, no, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, it's only 18 months out, so.
Yeah. We gotta hurry.
We need to start designing tomorrow.
Daughter's getting married soon.
Yeah.
That's right. I'll leave these little books behind too, and I'll leave a couple of copies of that. But this just shows some of the work that Ankrum Moisen has done. The clubhouse at Tetherow, we did the clubhouse at Tetherow.
Very nice.
This was clubhouse at Centennial down in Medford that we did. This is the Blackview Big Meadow Clubhouse. We did the Big Meadow Clubhouse design.
Is Steve still on there?
Steve, you there?
He's just
Sorry
quiet.
about
We had you muted.
No, we have the renderings. Sorry for the road noise. I'm about 60 miles from Seattle. Anyhow, just a couple of questions that come to my mind as I'm listening to the whole thing. And Michael, thank you for coming in again and for sticking with us. So I want someone to ask the question besides myself. We've got the board telling us a clubhouse in 3 to 5 years. Well, we've got Jason that wants, quote, a lodge with lodging and grandioso and all that, and that's a great idea.
Not for a place to sleep. That's not what I'm thinking about, Steve. I'm talking about a place where you would eat, and then you would have a ballroom, and you would have your pro shop, of course, your restrooms. You'd have your place for cleaning your carts and storing your carts, probably underneath, like they've designed here. Basically,
Okay.
it's exactly what he's drawn, only much larger, and it would actually have a ballroom. That's the one piece that's really missing, is a ballroom.
No overnight accommodation.
Yeah, no overnight accommodations, nothing like that.
Okay. So when I hear a lodge, a hunting lodge, any kind of lodge, timberline lodge, I think lodging. It's short for lodging. So yeah, just keep that in mind. But my point is 3 to 5 years. Okay, we have the work session, Jason. We all watch it online. 3 to 5 years. Thank you for that. However, we've got one hand that we're 3 to 5 years of a quote clubhouse. Well, we don't know what the budget will be. We don't have a firm time of when the current golf course will be paid off for sure, and all those things. So in 3 to 5 years, when we're getting excitement, well, we don't actually know what that budget looks like in 3 to 5 years. If we've got a budget for something predicted or forecasted that will accommodate the grand site, which I agree with, I think that's important. I would want that and vote for that. Or do we have just something that we can, to Tom's point earlier, that we can afford that will suffice? Like, I just want to know if in 3 to 5 years what that looks like. It's great to have the sticker on the board, but what tangibly does that look like? And then also the third 9, where was that from a time perspective? I don't recall on the list of priorities.
Well, that would go right along with the
Lodge.
or the new clubhouse.
Love it.
If you like that
Okay.
idea better. So when we spoke to Dawn suggested that if we're gonna have a new clubhouse, his suggestion was that we should do the clubhouse and the third 9 at the same time.
Okay, guys, do you have any rebuttal or thoughts on what we just discussed there? Anybody?
I agree with
Timing,
the
perspective,
third 9
budget,
and
all that.
the clubhouse at the same time, 100%.
Yeah, I agree with that. I agree with that as well. But our course marching forward is understanding that it could be 3 to 5 years. We need to take it to the next step, and that's what we need to get direction from the board of, which is like getting a quote from Michael and to taking it from what we have now just through schematic drawings, so we can understand what the cost is, and then figure out from there. You know, it's a step-by-step process. You can't just say, hey, yeah, we're going to build it in 3 years.
Right.
And as of right now, you have absolutely no idea how much it's going to cost or any of that type of stuff. It takes time to move through.
Well said. And who knows what cost of goods is going to be like in 5 years?
Well, I know, but that's you. As you go through this process, you continually update your estimate based on
Exactly.
current market conditions.
Yep.
That's standard procedure. You know, we do it all the time with, you know, jobs we start looking at 2 years prior to even get going. And I can guarantee you in that 2 years, we have multiple pricing sessions that come to the real price.
Yeah, and usually that early first estimate will have some escalation baked into it, assuming maybe a year out. And no one will really predict the crystal ball beyond a year, but you
No.
might escalate for a year, and then at the
Yeah.
end of that next year, you reprice it. If
Yep.
you haven't built anything, you reprice at that
Yeah,
point.
you usually, you put in contingencies, right? Escalation contingency, design contingency, and those things that pad those in there for the
And you are
unknowns.
music to my ears. Why doesn't everyone think the way you think?
Well, I've been doing it for 35 years.
Those contingencies are important. I'll just quickly finish. So there's the Gearhart Golf Course. I don't know if anyone's played there.
Oh, yeah,
we do all the.
we were there this summer.
Yeah, we do all the current McMinimans work. So
Yeah.
we did an expansion there. This is the lodge at Pronghorn. We just did the new hotel. So if you could bring Steve around and you build lodging, we could do that. But what we just started about a month ago was on the last page is we're remodeling their entire clubhouse and moving it from one place to another inside the Pronghorn facility. So
Really?
we're doing
Well,
that.
they had a fire. Last year.
That's why they called us. Yeah.
I was there in May.
Yeah, so I'll leave these for you, and I've got one more copy of this I'll leave.
Cool.
Great,
And,
thank you.
and happy to answer any other questions if you have them, but.
Well, I want to thank you for taking the time to put this whole thing together.
Yeah, it's been a real pleasure, yeah.
I know Don Loving helped work on some of this, or helped ask for some of this, so I'm thankful to him for that. So, yeah, thank you very much. And you know what, I will speak with the rest of the board. I intend to show them these drawings on Thursday and see what their thoughts are.
Yeah, that sounds great, yeah, and just let me know how I can be a resource, and I'm as committed to making this happen as all of you are. I think my heart's in this place for various
Thank you,
reasons.
Michael.
Yeah.
And would you be willing to come in the future if
Sure.
if we wanted to have you speak at one of our board meetings?
Yeah, absolutely,
That'd be great.
yeah.
Super.
That'd be fantastic. Thank you, really
Yeah.
appreciate
Yeah,
it.
awesome.
I'm happy to be here. If there's any reason for me to stay, I can, but if not, I'll
No.
just
Nope.
head back.
The rest of it is boring.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
very much.
Appreciate your time.
That's fantastic.
So I think, Jason, to be on the kind of how this goes, so say Thursday we put a motion in, say, hey, we'd like to put a motion in to have Michael Vaughn give us a cost to, take the design from this to schematic design so we can get a better idea of what
Absolutely.
we're looking at. Okay. All right. Thanks, Michael.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So that's what you have to do, right?
Yeah.
You can't just send him an
Yes.
email and say, get us a price.
Right.
It needs to go.
Right, the board needs to agree that
We
this
need
is
to
what
put
we're
a
gonna
motion
do.
in. Okay.
Yes,
Yep. Just wanted to clarify that. That's
Yep.
what I figured.
yeah. Super, okay.
Dan, did you get that motion down?
I did.
Perfect.
Does anyone need a second? Do we need to?
Yep.
Oh, the committee needs to second that?
Yep.
I second it.
Yeah. Third, fourth, fifth?
I think we do have a quorum here, so we're good.
All right, perfect.
Kellen, was there anything that
Yeah, so
you had to say about this? What's your thoughts on these ideas?
Yeah, I'm all for them. I
You
think
were
that's a
in
good
on
looking
some of this,
clubhouse.
weren't you?
Yeah.
Weren't you in it? Yeah, that's
Little
what I
bit, yeah.
thought. Thank you, yeah, thank you for getting that going and the work you
Yeah,
did on it.
certainly.
And what's
I
your,
know that, the pictures there show the outdoor seating area. That's gonna seat 150 people. It doesn't really look
outside.
like it
Oh,
in those,
the
in those
pavilion?
pictures, but the pavilion is
Yeah.
gonna seat
oh, that would be
as
fabulous.
many as we can
Oh,
seat
wow,
right
that's
now.
fantastic.
Yeah, so,
Yeah.
Wow,
I think that was the one thing I was confused on.
Is that the
was just
tent looking thing?
that's this right here.
Yeah, the pavilion there.
Yep.
Yeah,
the
this
covered
thing.
pavilion.
Yep, okay.
There's a few picnic tables in there, but it's a full-on,
Yeah.
will fit 150 plus people, so.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Can you
that's-
answer this for me?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I guess I should know, but during the summertime, I guess it's late till 9 o'clock, so you
9:30?
could use this most of the year. It's just wintertime and you don't do much in the wintertime.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yep.
So.
We had our last tournament on Sunday.
But that's where having a ballroom would
Something
be
inside.
fabulous, because now all of a sudden you have a facility that can be used year-round versus only during the summertime. So, yeah.
And that's something that can be talked about too, is whether that's enclosed or not.
I was, as we were looking at it, he was explaining, I was wondering that too.
Yeah, I
That's
did-
something
did-
that-
Was thinking the same thing. I mean, how do you, keep the same kind of look, but also be able to, weatherize it
Yeah.
to be able to serve, year round, or if not year round, at least 9 months.
Yep, yep.
So,
Yeah.
Definitely.
More use you can get out of it, the better.
yep.
Okay.
Hey, by the way, I like the new carts, the lithium batteries.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah, they go a lot quicker.
they're working well.
Yeah.
The new pedal assembly is a little touch and go,
Yeah.
completely different than the old ones, so I think that took some time for the people who've played out there to get used to that, but
Yeah.
yeah, we're liking them.
You can scoot like right along.
Okay.
Was there anything else in the previous meeting minutes?
I've got, I mean, I've-
Yes. Yes. Go ahead. I've got one in there, but keep going. Go ahead. Whoever was speaking.
That was Matt.
yeah, I mean, I've got all the I mean, I can review them all if you guys want. I just haven't, I just pulled up the email.
Can you do that so we can just report in these minutes?
Do you
want
have
to
it
just
on?
recite them out?
Say that again.
Do you want to just recite out?
Yep, I
what
can
counts,
do
so I
that.
can report in these minutes too?
Yep, let's see, Scott Robinson maintenance update. Fall aeration was completed on all tees and greens. Number 13, tee boxes were going to be leveled in the coming weeks.
Yes, that's still scheduled.
Yep. Let's see, we received price and bid for upgrade to current irrigation system. Chehalem Glen does not currently have a standalone roller which would improve play on greens. Next item, Scott was gonna get golf course or evaluations from other superintendents to determine what improvements are needed. And that service would be at no charge to CPRD. Few discussion points, a recommendation that CPRD contract out pro shop services and ask to put RFP on all RFP boards available. I believe that was one of the motions made to the board in last month's meeting. Next item, golf course committee needs to write mission statement and purpose. Next, ask CPRD to move forward with feasibility study and create 3-phase master plan for clubhouse, additional 9, and then maintenance, cost, budgeting, etc. And then request that golf course committee reserves the right to steer direction of 3-phase master plan. Reference to what Scott talked about earlier, hire pond company to complete evaluation to improve pond health and protect wildlife, but it sounds like that's
In process.
in process. Golf course priorities, standalone roller, tree trimming, tee boxes leveled, clean ponds, clear out blackberries, new clubhouse. This looks like contract out, pro shop services, update irrigation system. Sprinkler heads need to be raised, net needed for driving range, more trash receptacles. I think that means at tee boxes. And then new driving range targets. So those were just priorities that I think we kind of just did a brainstorming session. And then motion requests, board to authorize golf course committee to post an RFP seeking creation of master plan for clubhouse, restaurant, event space. That motion was made to the board at last month's board meeting. And then board to authorize the evaluation of the pond to get that in proper working order. That motion was made. Those are the only 2 motions I have on here, Steve, but I think there was another motion.
That's what I wanted to address, because I'm definitely going to address this on Thursday in person to the board. We asked for 2. I thought there were 3 motions, Bob. We asked for 2, and they completely were ignored. And I just wanted to see what we want to do about that.
Jason has an update on that.
Well, I think one of them was whether we were gonna move forward on a new satellite system, and Dawn said we were, and we are.
For the irrigation.
For the irrigation. The second one was, we were going to vote on the pond, but Don said we didn't need to vote on it because he was gonna take care of it. And that's it, that's all I have. So,
Neither one of those were the ones that I said. The ones that I said were the ones that Matt read off, specifically about the RFP and the other one. Those are the ones I read, and it's on the table. Just saying.
Yeah,
Okay.
so just bring them up Thursday and ask for a status update.
yeah. Yeah, and frankly, I'll tell you, last meeting was, it was pretty it was pretty lively, and so, you know what?
There was a lot going
I
on.
missed out on a lot of items that I wanted to bring up, and, you know, I apologize if, you know, if I didn't get to that one, but it wasn't because I didn't want to, it's just, we had a really big meeting, you know, last time.
Totally understand. It got taken over by Crystal Riley, which I don't know what's going to stop that from happening going forward, but I'll find out on Thursday like the rest of the community will. But thank you for that.
Yeah.
Is everybody good there?
Yeah, so what you might do is you're gonna be here on Thursday, Steve?
Yep, I'll be back tomorrow night.
Okay, so if you want to bring it up again and just simply state that, you know, that you had made a motion and then we'll go from there, okay?
Yep, sounds good.
Okay.
Hey, Steve, that's a good segue for number 5, action items to review in advance of the board meeting for Thursday's board meeting.
Yeah, great point. The only one that's on my mind, again, I say check the tape, it's digital, YouTube, but 2 board meetings, so 2 things. Number 1, 2 board meetings ago, Jason, Matt Smith, the board president, directed Don Clements and Heidi Smith and the staff to come back with an answer 60 days later because Heidi asked for an extension because she was going to be taking a 2-week vacation regarding what the state and the district said about allowing tips for employees. If it's a no, hey, that's a no. We just want an update of what happened per Matt's request, which was 60 days ago.
Okay.
So that's what I would like to say. What was the response?
Yeah.
And number 2, what does November and December look like from a CPRD board meeting standpoint? So I know if we need to meet again as a committee.
Well, in November, there is not a meeting scheduled. On the other hand, I will tell you that if we get any pressing reason why we need to have a meeting, I can speak for myself, but I am, and I can speak for Matt as well, that we will make ourselves available if we need to meet about a pressing issue. So the rest of the board will have to find out what their availability is, but I know for sure that I will be available if we need to meet. And I believe that the next meeting is December 7th. That is the next board meeting. And if we need to change it for some reason, I mean, I will work with the board to figure out what works for everybody.
On the agenda here, it says next regular board meeting, December 7th, if needed, or January 25th.
Okay, so I'm gonna ask the committee, guys, with your calendars, can you decide together when you'd like to meet, and I will just make time available?
You want to do it right now? Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, so it's included in this meeting. You guys want to meet the 5th? That's fine. Keep it the Tuesday before they meet. Whatever you want to do, I'll just make myself available.
That works for me.
Is he talking
I don't.
December?
December.
November 5th?
No, December 5th.
December.
No meeting in November for us.
Okay.
I'm guessing Ron will be back, but I can't really speak for him.
I'm in.
Yeah, I can make that work for me.
Nothing's happening over at the
Yeah, that should work.
except rain.
Tom, when's the Pac-12 championship in case our Beavers are involved?
I believe that is the 4th.
Thank you.
Wouldn't be on Tuesday, right?
What's that?
Wouldn't be on Tuesday.
No.
Okay, anything else?
Jason, while we're on here, Jason Fields, I want to thank you on behalf of our guys for the work you're doing with the board. We appreciate it, and we appreciate you helping to make this a priority and actually taking time to chair our committee in the midst of, like you said, huge turnouts and all kinds of turmoil. It's not gone unnoticed. We talk about it all the time, and I just want to say thank you.
December 1st.
Thank you, appreciate it.
So, yeah, I don't think it'll be on Tuesday. I'll second that.
I was thinking Monday. Yeah.
Thank you.
No, truly appreciate it. Jason, you're,
I appreciate Kellen being here.
Yeah,
Yeah, thank you.
yeah, really glad you're here, Kellen.
Yeah.
we
Thank
get
you,
all the help we
Kelly.
can get, so we'll take it.
Yeah, we
You
definitely
know more
want to
about
hear your,
the workings of the golf course than we do.
yeah.
Yeah.
I also need to second Tom Sheridan real quick. Scott, is Scott still there? Robinson?
Yes.
Yes.
It is.
Scott, I will agree. Now, I've been here half the time. Tom has 8 years, and it's the best I've seen the fairways and the greens look collectively, especially this time of year, but overall, so thank you.
Thank you.
Roundtable, thoughts, ideas, concerns, anything else before we wrap?
Nope.
Steve, anything else?
Just again, happy birthday to Tom, and thanks again for everybody being there. Appreciate y'all.
Put that in the minutes.
Yeah.
Thanks, Steve. Thanks for taking the time to call in.
Thanks for calling in, Steve, appreciate you.
All right.
Absolutely. Thanks, guys.
Yep.
BS.
And Richard, thanks for being the master on the
On the IT.
on the
Thank you,
IT.
Richard.
Thank you, Richard.
Please say a command.
Thank you.
And the meeting.
End of meeting. Meeting adjourned.